again. Today, as you know already, as you can probably see, we're working on a TTR 125. Today, we're going to be installing new handlebar grip. Let's get to it. I think I'll just start by showing you what I got here. I got some Scott motor grips. They're a single density, medium firmness kind of grip, and I've used them on a couple other machines and I like them a lot. So this is what we're going to put on this bike today. I've got a JIS screwdriver bit on a ratchet wrench so that we can remove the throttle tube assembly. I've also got a 5mm metric hex key so that we can remove these bolts and loosen a couple of the others for these handlebar guards so that we can pull the throttle tube off and so that we can pull the grip off on that side over there. I've also got a new tool here that I picked up. It's a 15-piece hole punch set. The idea with this is that I'll be able to take this 7/8 hole punch and cut a perfect hole in the end of the throttle side hand grip so that I can avoid getting a mangled up cut like this, and I can have a nicer end on my throttle tube grip without it interfering with the bark buster. To start, we're going to remove the bark busters from both sides. We only have to undo this bolt and the bolt at the end here to remove them. We don't actually need to remove any of the other bracketing. Alright, here we go. That one's rounded out. But as you can see, these are 5mm, so why that one's rounded out, I really don't know. Someone appears to have put these in there really tight. Yeah, I wonder who that was. I don't know if I can get that out. Damn. Okay, broke loose. I kind of tweaked my wrench too. Well, I think I'll have to get a Torx wrench and hammer it in there. Alright, well, let's see if this works. I'm going to attempt to hammer this into the bolt head of that. Oh, it's just not going to fit. This is probably just going to twist out. Oh yeah, things tend not to go easily, do they? Okay. Plan B. I'm gonna have to try to just take the bracket off, and this will just never come out ever again. Typical. Probably hard to see what I'm doing here. I'm taking the bracket bolts off. Well, at least these ones aren't rounded. Bar pad's a little bit in the way, but never fear. Alright, well, couldn't get the bolt out, so we had to take the bracket off. And the end is loosened, and there we go. That's removed now. Oh, we'll set this aside. Alright, we'll remove the left-hand side bark buster. There we go. And we'll set this aside. Just notice for a moment. This bike looks kind of strange to me now without the bark busters on there. It's been a long time since this bike has been without bark busters. Alright, now I'm sitting on the motorcycle. We can go ahead and loosen up the throttle tube here. This is the method I've used every time I've undone these bolts, and as you can see, these are barely even marked. So this is a good method. Instead of trying to get in there with a screwdriver, this gives you good leverage, and you can use your other hand to give good pressure. Alright, now that that's loosened, we'll pull the throttle tube off, or at least do something different with it. So I took my throttle tube off, and this is just some molybdenum disulfide grease that I put on there a couple years ago. But I'm going to wipe this off, clean it out, and I'm going to replace it with some silicone grease. And it's probably going to be working a little bit better. I mean, putting new grease on anything will definitely help, but putting something other than molybdenum disulfide grease, which is more for metal components, so putting some silicone grease on there will probably help it work just a little bit better. And yeah. Alright. I'll get back to you when I get this re-greased, and I'll pull the grip off in a second here. First, let's start by cutting this old grip off. Interesting. There's a big old crack in there. I never realized this had a crack in the throttle tube. Yeesh, that's bad. Look at that crack. Well, time to put gloves on. Well, there's the stock grip. Pretty well destroyed. And here's the throttle tube. Somewhat destroyed. I never realized I had a big old crack in the end of it like that. Kind of a problem. But, alright. Well, I'll get this cleaned up off camera, and then we'll get ready to put the new grip on, and then we will clean up the handlebar, get rid of that grease. We'll put new silicone grease on that to replace the old molybdenum disulfide grease, and then we'll move on to removing the left-hand side grip, and we should be just about done. Alright, let's get to it. Alright, we're back. I got this all cleaned up as best as I could. Got all the old glue off. Some of this rubber is really just stuck on there. I tried to super glue it because it was starting to slip and spin on the grip, but it didn't work too well. So here we are. This is now all clean, ready for a new grip. This handlebar though is still coated in the old grease, so I got a little cleaning wipe here, and we're gonna just wipe all this off. It's not metal, it's molybdenum disulfide grease, so don't have to worry about the wearing. Although you can see here, the handlebar is definitely worn. I'm not sure if that's from the molybdenum disulfide grease, or if that's just wear from the throttle tube. It might just be wear from the throttle tube. Alright, let's get to greasing. Alright, here we are. We're going to put the new grip on our throttle tube. Let's see if we can't get this backwards here. Maybe we'll wait. You know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to leave the grip off, and I'm going to install the grip with this throttle tube and throttle assembly bolted onto the motorcycle. That way I know exactly where I want the throttle tube and throttle tube assembly, or twist throttle assembly, to be at, and then I can put the grip on so that the grip isn't all, off and backwards. Alright, so let's take off the left side grip, and we'll get that removed, get that cut off, whatever it needs. Get it removed, we'll clean up the bar, and we'll start on greasing this. Here we go. Alright, let's see how hard it's going to be to get this off. Well, it's pretty clear this grip didn't have as much of a problem with slipping as the other one did, so let's get the snips. I'd probably use a pocket knife or some other kind of X-Acto if I had them, but for safety reasons, this is probably just what I'm going to be better off using. Alright, got the old grip cut off. That's what it looks like on the inside. Yep. And I'll get this all cleaned off in a second here. Alright, I think that's pretty clean there. We'll just let this dry up and we'll be ready to put the grips on. Alright, now we're going to try to cut the hole, a nice clean hole in the end of the grip. I've got this dowel that's approximately the same diameter as the grip, so that should provide a nice backstop for the punch, because trying to cut a hole in a rubber tube like this is a little bit hard just because it's flexible. Get up the 7/8 punch. If we look how this lines up on the end here, it should cut a nice hole at the end, and it should be pretty clean. A lot cleaner than trying to do it with a razor blade or a drill bit, especially a drill bit. For the non-throttle tube side, I'm actually going to try a 3/4 inch punch. It just seems to fit in the indent and the end of the grip a little bit nicer, and it'll just leave a tighter seal when I'm done. So we'll give this a go. If it doesn't work, we can always go up in size. Looks about centered. Appear to have pushed the wood up through the grip. Okie dokie. I didn't make a cut all the way around, so let's try again on this side. Well, there's the little plug we pulled out, and there's the pretty clean hole in the end of the new grip. Should be pretty good. I did get a little bit carried away there and kind of drove the punch into the end of the dowel, so that's a little bit messed up. Hopefully the end of this grip, the inside of this grip isn't too dirty. I might need to try to clean that out just so I can get a good, you know, kind of adhesion to the handlebar. Alright, so far it looks good. Let's get this put on the bike. Alright, we got the new grip. We're going to attempt to put this on the left hand side of the bike. Trying to keep it in the frame here. Almost there. Pretty much there now. Yep, we're there. Might need a little bit of fine adjustment here or there, but that's installed. Alright, let's move on to the throttle tube side. Alright, we got some silicone grease, and we're going to go ahead and grease up this throttle tube, and then we're going to install the throttle assembly back onto the handlebar. Let's get to it. Alright, that's greased up. We'll go ahead and put this on the handlebar. Just want to make sure this is really clean. I don't want any grease on that, because any grease that's on this is going to end up underneath the throttle tube, and that's a big problem. Or underneath the grip, because that's a big problem. That's kind of why the old grip spun. Alright, here's the throttle side grip. We're going to go ahead and cut a hole in the end here, and hopefully that's a big enough hole that this doesn't interfere with the bark buster bracket. Just to see, here's the insert, here's the expanding insert that goes in the end of the handlebar, and we'll just see how big is it compared to the inside of this throttle grip. Alright, so yeah, it's definitely smaller than the throttle grip, so that's good to know. As long as we cut a 7/8 or bigger hole in the end of this grip, we shouldn't have any issues with this rubbing on this. Alright, well we just cut a 3/4 inch hole in the end of the throttle tube grip. Here's the little plug that we just took a core out of. Here's the mangled end of the dowel. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's just what it is. Alright, let's see if the hole we just cut fits over the bar end. It does fit over, but there's a little bit of friction there. So I'm a little concerned that when I have this in the bike, and this is clamped onto the handlebar, that when I have this on here and I'm twisting the throttle, it's going to be sticking, and I don't want sticking. So I might need to go ahead and try to trim that, or do something else, maybe cut a bigger hole. We'll see. We'll see what happens here. Well, here we are. I did the best I could to trim up this hole in the end of the throttle tube, or in the end of the throttle grip, and we'll just have to install it and see what happens. Hopefully there's no friction going on between this and the end of the bar, or the end of the bark buster, because I don't want a sticking throttle. Yeah, putting the throttle tube side grip is usually always a little bit harder, just because it's a thinner grip. There's not as much to push on. Well, we're almost all the way there. Oh, well, I get to take that grip back off, because I just forgot the little donut that goes behind here. Keeps this grip from gripping on the housing. Well, I guess if you're going to do it right, might as well do it twice. I don't really want to do it like that. My hands are just sweating. It's so hot in here. I can't get a grip on this thing. Goodness sake. Well, I guess it's good that it's on there real nice, but gee whiz, it's on there real nice. Whew. Jeez. Yep. Oh, here we go. Got the grip donut, or whatever this is. Not sure which way it's supposed to go, but we'll put it on like that. There's definitely some force required to push this thing on there. I'm not really sure it's sticking there. It's not quite the snappy throttle. Oh, maybe I'll move this just a little bit down. That's working a little bit better. Well, now let's see if we can get the bark buster back on here, and hopefully it's not going to be rubbing on the inside of the grip here. That's my big worry. Alright, well, we got the bark buster here. We're going to go ahead and reinsert it. It looks about right. Although, it looks a little bit funny. So that's not going to be a problem. Maybe that grip looks a little goofy. Alright, let's go ahead and get that thing tightened down. We'll get the bolts put on for over here. Alright, just a little bit of fine tuning here. I just want to make sure there's enough gap at the end of this throttle tube that this isn't going to have a chance to rub on the throttle and make the throttle stick. Just going to go ahead and pull that away. And we'll move this up. Give this a good snug, because I really don't want it moving. Guess I can move it down just a little bit. Make sure that's good on there. Well, alright, to tighten these up. This throttle has never really been perfect, so I might need to slightly move this again. That's tight. Well, that's working a little better. It's definitely no throttle body snap, but it's definitely good. Not binding. Throttle actuation is smooth. I just hope these grips firm up a little bit. I think probably just because I was working them a little bit hard there. They're just a little bit shifty, a little bit gummy. So hopefully that kind of firms up to the throttle tube and I don't have any twisting issues. This side's actually doing pretty good. That side's really good. This side hopefully firms up a little bit, but so far I'm really happy. I like the full waffle design. That's why I've chosen these ones. Full waffle, that way, because I like to have my throttle assembly flipped underneath instead of having the cables run on the top. They run underneath because I'm running these ROX risers, and I'm still on the stock carb with the stock throttle cables, so it was a little bit too short to run them over the top, so I had to run it underneath. But this way I don't have to worry about having waffles on the top or waffles on the bottom. It's a full waffle design, which I like. So, alright, let's go ahead and we'll get the left side bark buster reattached, and then we'll be done. Hopefully this video isn't too long. I like to cover everything I do in each video so that nothing's left out. It makes it a nice thorough video at least. Alright, let's get to it. Alright, got the left side bark buster here. Go ahead and reinsert that. Got this bolt here. It's a real bummer that this bolt here is stripped out. But it's a good thing I was able to take the bracket off. Yep, and they're level. Just gotta hold this side up while I tighten this. So these are Enduro Engineering bark busters, and I like them a lot. They're nice lightweight aluminum, and they've taken some minor tip overs, and they look perfect. Now, they probably wouldn't look so perfect if I had those plastic flags on there, but yeah, I don't race, and I don't worry about roost hitting my hands, so I opted not to get those, and these have been perfect for this bike for over 5 years now. I'd say I recommend these products. Well, here's what's left of the old grips. I had to cut this one down the middle and then cut this end off, pull it off. You can see these grips are starting to get a little bit where the diamonds, even though you can still see them, they're pretty much flat in there. And this grip it was sliding all over, so that's why I had to replace these. And hopefully I don't have any more sliding issues, because I don't want to have to wire tie these grips on. But if I have to, I'll look at how to do that. Yep. So this is what's left of the old grips, and here we are. We got the finished product. We got the new grips installed. We got the bike reassembled, and I think we're ready to go take a short test ride. Well, if you made it to this part of the video, you've obviously finished the video. Or maybe you're one of those people who skips through the video. That's alright. If you did enjoy this video and you found it helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. And if you have any further questions about what was done here in this video today, please leave a comment, and I will make sure to get back to you. Thanks for watching, and please enjoy the short test ride at the end of this video. Alright, just before we get to the test ride here, I want to let you know about an upcoming video. I'm going to be replacing this worn out chain. Yeah, worn out. I'm going to be replacing it with a sealed X-ring chain from BID and some new sprockets, front and rear. Alright, let's get to the test ride. New grips are nice. I think I even got the angles right, so they're level. Nice and grippy, as a grip should be. Let's see how many kicks it takes for this thing to start. Well, I gotta say, this is my reoccurring best bike of the year. This bike puts a smile on my face every time I ride it, and it's just a blast. It might be a 125, it might be a TTR, it might be a kid's bike, but this thing's, like I said, it's my favorite bike. You can hop on, you can whack the throttle, and it's not going to spit you off the back. And yeah, super reliable. I mean, I wring this thing's neck every time I ride it, and I never ever worry about that motor blowing up. Only thing I'm thinking about is what's the next fun thing I can do on this motorcycle.